Hey guys, this is the first video on how to take the Virginia State SOL test for Algebra 2. And I'll also add in some hints on how to use Desmos. So if we look at the most recent released standardized test for Algebra 2, this one was released in the spring of 2015. So the first sample question has which expression is equivalent to the square root of 7x divided by 16. Well, if we go to work it out, we're going to solve it. And remember, we can't simplify 7 over 16, so I'm going to separate it into the square root of 7x over the square root of 16. I can't simplify the square root of 7x, but I can take the square root of 16, and that gives me 4. And that gives me this answer here. But let's say that I forgot exactly how to simplify those. If I go to Desmos, and I type in my original problem that they gave me, that's what it looks like when it graphs. So I want to check all 4 of the answers that I was given to see which one matches it. So if I take choice A, that doesn't look like it, so that's not the solution. Choice B, that doesn't match it. Choice C, oh wait, let's look at that one. That looks exactly like it. So I think C is going to be my answer. I take C off and I try D. D's not it. So C is going to be my answer for that one. So I could do it in Desmos, or I could actually solve it by hand. For sample question D, you're asked to type your answer in the box. When we work with these, remember to simplify a radical. What we have to do is we have to get our radical sign by itself first. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to add 3 to both sides. And that gives us the square root of x is equal to 9. And when we want to get rid of our radical sign, we have to make sure that our exponent matches our index. If there's no number out here in our index, it's a 2. And whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So when our exponent and our index match, the radical sign cancels, and we're left with x is equal to, and 9 squared gives us 81. Always make sure that you check it. If we come back and we check our answer, we're going to plug in 81 everywhere in our original problem that we have an x. So if I plug in 81 here, the square root of 81 gives me 9, and 9 minus 3 is 6, and that checks. So we know that that's our answer. Another way that we could do it is we could go to Desmos, and we could take this whole equation right here that we're given to begin with, and make sure that we plug it into Desmos and see where it crosses our x-axis. So let's look at Desmos this time. Our original problem is here. The square root of x minus 3 is equal to 6. I don't see any answer. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit just to check and see. Oh, wait, there we go. There's an answer right there. So if I zoom in on that just a little bit, I might be able to figure out where it actually crosses my x-axis. And it looks right here that it crosses at 81. And that's the same thing that we got when we plugged it into this, when we solved it by hand. All right? For this one, which expression is equivalent to the square root of 20x to the 16th y to the 25th for positive x and y values? So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to see what's the largest perfect square that will go into 20. Well, that's 4. And then we have 16x to the 16th. 16 is divisible by my index, so I'm going to leave that there. 25 is not divisible by 2, so I'm going to break it down into 24, which is divisible by 2, and then I have another y left over here. And 4 times 5 would give me my 20. So I've separated it into the 2. And when I look at my radicals, this is a perfect square, so that comes outside. So I have square root of 4 is 2. My exponent divided by index, so that gives me 16 divided by 2. Y to the 24th divided by 2 times, and I can't forget the square root of 5y. So when I simplify and reduce my exponents, 16 divided by 2 is 8. 24 divided by 2 is 12, times the square root of 5y. So that's answer C. For the next question, when we look at this, we want to know which expression is equivalent. And so while we're looking at which answer is going to be equivalent to it, we're going to have to multiply. You can only multiply if your radical sign is the same. So we both of our problems have the cube root. So we're going to multiply 6 times 4. That gives me 24. And remember, when we multiply and we have exponents, that we actually add the exponents. Keep the base the same and add your exponents. So I have the cube root of 24w to the 12. So now I'm taking the cube root. So I'm not looking for perfect squares. I'm looking for perfect cubes. And I'm going to separate it into 2 radical signs. So what's the largest perfect cube that'll go to 24? That's 8. 12 is divisible by 3, so I leave that w to the 12th. And then 8 times 3 gives me 24, so this one stays by itself. So now I bring out my perfect cube. The cube root of 8 is 2. W to the 12 divided by 3. And I can't forget my cube root of 3 that I have left over. So final answer, 12 divided by 3 is going to give me w to the 4th and the cube root of 3. So that's answer A. If we go to Desmos, we can look at the problem that we have and plugging it in. So let's go to Desmos, and we have the cube root of 6w to the 7th, and I'm just going to leave it as x. And how do we get anything that's larger than a square root? We have to go to our functions, over to miscellaneous, and the middle column in miscellaneous will give us that choice. So we've got the cube root of 6x to the 7th. So we're going to raise that x to the 7th power. Times the cube root. Go back to our functions again. And this time we have 4x to the 5th. Right? So we've got a little graph here. And then we have all of our answer choices. So again, when we're given our answer choices, we can plug each one of them in there individually. So let's start with B. So 2x to the 4th, 2x to the 4th times the cube root of 6. That was answer choice B. And I think I raised that to a power, so I'm going to go back over here. There we go. And make sure that you don't do the same thing that I did, so that you have it up to a power. 3 to the cube root of 6. Does that match? Looks like a pretty good match to me. Right? Let's try and see if we can get it so that it looks a little bit better. Zoom out a little bit. Does that look like it matches? That looks pretty good. What about if we put a 3 in here? Oh, we've got all kinds of matches on that one. Okay? So we've got all kinds of points that match. If we go back to our other answer choice, w to the 11th. So I'll raise that to the 11th. And the cube root of 3x squared. 3x squared. Well, we know that one doesn't match. Okay? So we can get rid of C. If we put in a 6 here, that doesn't match. So we know that those two don't match. So the only ones that we're really worried about is the first two. So 2x to the 4th times the cube root of 3. 2x to the 4th times the cube root of 6. And the cube root of 3. Trying to figure out which one exactly works or matches a little bit better. Well, we figured out with all of these points here, that's showing us that that one matches a little bit better than the 6. Okay? So we can plug it into Desmos and look at it that way. For this next problem, problem number 3, they give you some steps written out, and they want to know what property would work to justify the steps between step 4 and step 5. Well, you're multiplying times 1 in step 4, and the 1 just goes away. So when we talk about the identity property of multiplication, also known as the multiplicative identity, it states that the product of any number you multiply by 1 is the exact same number. It maintains its identity. So, for example, 7 times 1 would give me 7. 59 times 1 would give me 59. So anything I multiply by 1 is going to keep that same number. And that's the property that you used here in problem number 3. All right, so problem number 4, when we're looking at this one, which exact expression is equivalent to the following with no denominators that equal 0? I've started working this one out, long drawn out process. We're going to kind of come back and look and see what exactly we can do here to make this so that it does look a little bit better. I've separated the top and the bottom, and I wrote it out horizontally instead of vertically because you're more used to seeing it this way. And then remember, we can't divide fractions, so we have to flip, keep, change, flip. So I keep the first fraction, change this to multiplication, and I flip the second fraction. Now I'm going to take a negative out of both of these. So when I take a negative out, then that means that this is going to switch. So I'm going to have a positive W minus 11. And down here, I'm going to have a negative 30W squared. And the reason I did that is so that when I look here, these two things are the same. So when they are the same, I can physically cancel those out. And how many times will 5 go into negative 30? Well, that's a negative 6 times. Where is my largest exponent for W? It's on top. So I take the 2 from the bottom, and I take 2 away from the 6 that's on top, and I have 6 minus 2 gives me W to the 4th. And I can't forget that I have that negative there, so my answer is W to the 4th over negative 6. Well, I don't see the negative 6 there. It's got the negative up here. So that's where I have it. Let's see if we can plug this one into Desmos. So if I have 11 minus, and remember I'm not going to put in W, I'm going to put in X. 11 minus X. Let's figure out some of this stuff. So 11 minus X divided by, notice I put in a parentheses there so I could keep it, divided by 30x squared. Okay. I'm going to come outside. I'm going to put another parentheses. And I'm going to divide all of that by, just watch where you place your parentheses, x minus 11 divided by 5x to the 6. Okay, so I've got a graph, all right? So that's good. I've got a graph there. Now I've got 4 choices. So I'm going to take each one of my choices that I'm given, and I'm going to see which one matches it. So let's do negative x to the 4th over 6. Negative x to the 4th divided by 6. Ooh, that looks pretty good. The next one is negative x to the negative 6 over w, x to the 3rd. Let's talk. Negative 6 divided by x to the 3rd. Well, that's not a match. So we know that choice B isn't a match.